All right, everybody, I'm here with Joe, the third boot of Big Brother Minecraft 9. What is going on, Joe?
I'm gonna be honest, not much. It's been coming up to 2 years. I would say things are much different, but not really, not really much different.
Gotcha.
So I'd say I'm doing alright. I'm doing alright.
Good. That's good to hear. Yeah, obviously you left on a little a weird note. It was definitely a weird eviction. It was a little strange. Honestly, it was kind of unexpected for me. It kind of just came out of nowhere, in my opinion. How did that eviction leave? What taste in your mouth was left? I'm curious to know how you felt in the moment compared to how you feel now.
Dude, I felt like Sid in Ice Age 4 when he drank the salt water from the sea. It was in fairness, I was pretty bitter when I left because, and you know what? I do still stand by it. I feel like it was a lot. It felt like a load of crap. That's what I felt like. I was just being fed constantly the entire week. I wasn't just shut out of conversations. I was completely ghosted by people. I think I asked Sage when they were head of household 5 separate times, both before veto and after veto, can we talk? And the only time they even bothered to speak to me was right before the veto ceremony, where they were just I'm gonna nominate you. It's I can't do anything with that. I felt so backed into a corner, and
right.
I couldn't even do anything about it because people were just not giving me the time of day to speak. They were like, "Oh yeah, Joe's a physical threat." From what, man? The wall comp is pressing a spacebar.
Yeah, it seemed so at your eviction was, it was really the first explosive moment in the house, right? Where you call out Vince and you call out Sage all in one go. Why did you take that route? I'm not saying it was a bad route. I think it was really cool to see that happen. Hey, when we have fights in the house, we love to see it. But what made you take that route instead of taking a different approach?
I think the main thing I wanted to do was, if I was ever gonna go out, I'm not gonna go out like a wet fart. I'm not just gonna lay low about it, because I knew that at that point if I'd survived the eviction, I was going to be in the spotlight anyway. So at least I might as well make a show of it if I can. If I survive, then brilliant. I get to week 5 and I get to say, haha, one of your stupid alliances at least going home next week.
Right.
But it didn't happen, and I can at least say that because I did that, I went home swinging. I didn't go home just essentially like a floppy disk. I made sure I wanted to leave my mark, even if that meant going out third week.
Right. So obviously, now that we've been able to watch the season back, and obviously, well, we haven't yet, because as we're recording this, the season hasn't even come out yet. But we know, obviously, it's all out on the table. We all talk about the show together as a cast and crew. And so we were able to know or figure out that Jake was the one kind of instigating a lot of divide and tension in the house. So now that you know that, and now that you can see how it kind of led to your downfall, what is your reaction to what Jake did in the game?
I don't know if that necessarily led to my downfall. It was what kind of led to the kind of direction going towards Vince instead of Landry when I was calling people out. Because when I was doing that, I was mainly trying to kind of see who would react the most, and basically just lock in on them and tear them to shreds. And it happened to be Vince, and you know what? It made for a funny moment, so I'll take that.
Right. And just for the record, how is your relationship with you and Vince today?
Vince is fine. We don't chat all the time, right. But when you're on the Discord editing and stuff like that, it's we have cordial conversation and we're chill. We're completely chill. It's not we have any kind of animosity towards each other.
I'm glad.
If we still did 18 months later, there would be.
It'd be a little.
There would
strange,
be a bit concerning.
Oh, that's good. I'm sure the viewers probably interested to know how it was between you two. Another question I had for you is, and maybe I'm sure the viewers probably wanting to know, obviously, during the season, it was known that you and Happy had known each other. So I do want you to kind of go into like your history with Happy, but also my personal question to you is, why do you think he didn't like try harder to keep you in the game?
It is definitely like I think it's a weird situation because like Happy and I've known Happy since 2016. Like I've known of him pretty well. We used to be pretty good friends, and then we essentially just grew distant a lot for probably about 4, maybe 5 years. And like the season itself was actually the first time the two of us properly got to like sit down and actually like chat with each other in depth about stuff. And we did like mend bridges and everything like that. And that felt very cathartic, like just out of the context of the season entirely. It felt brilliant to be able to just like fix that bridge. But because of it, we weren't like as close as maybe people like Landry and Sage was saying we were. It's just that we had that preconceived notion of each other. We didn't know whether that meant we were going to target each other or we were going to like work well with each other. Turns out it ended up being the latter, but I think that was just because we just ended up being on the same page. We realized that we were kind of on the same page the whole time. We just kind of drifted, and that's it. I understand why he didn't fight super hard to save me, because like one of the main things that he wanted to do was integrate well with Sage, and Sage was the person in power, and Sage was the person. Well, technically it was Landry, but like that group were the people that were so like inutterably desperate for the guy pressing a spacebar to leave the house.
So I also wanted to talk about your kind of like, I wouldn't say like rivalry, right? Because like you kind of, it was kind of a one-sided rivalry with Jake. Because in the premiere episode we saw that you guys were having like a really good conversation, and it seemed like you guys were getting on like very well, and then out of nowhere you just have a confessional like, I don't like Jake. So maybe I just want you to explain to the viewers like just your point of view from like why you felt that way towards Jake in that moment.
Admittedly, that DR was definitely hamming it up for the bit. Like I made sure during the conversation to be like, "Oh, I really like you, Jake," and then I like hope that in editing it would cut to me saying, "I really don't like Jake."
Fair enough.
But as a player, I like specifically during that first week, I thought, okay, I'm kind of having a lot of issues getting a word in, because like if we were in conversations of 3, 4, maybe 5 people, I would just be sitting in the corner not being able to say anything, because anytime I would end up getting interrupted by people like Jake and Boyar.
Right.
They definitely didn't do it intentionally, but it kind of felt like I had ended up having to be quiet for most of the week, because I didn't want to, be rude and interrupt people. I didn't want to, put a target on my back because I'm talking too much. Because I definitely, like, I know I have a gob on me, so I don't want to make other people feel like they have to shut up. But that ended up happening to me when I was talking to Jake during that first week. I think it was just like that. I think it's like that. I wouldn't call it the honeymoon phase, but like people trying to get that first impression of each other. So I definitely did draw like everyone does in week 1. Everyone draws fast conclusions, and I thought Jake was that kind of person. I was like, okay, I don't want to work with Jake. Turns out Jake was one of the 2 people voted to save me. So
right. Yeah, it's Jake.
Does come full circle.
Boyard too. So kind of strange.
The 2 people I wanted gone week 1 were the 2 people voting to save me.
Crazy. Which, speaking of week 1, obviously, because the premiere is going to be this Friday. I'm really excited. But for those that are watching this, it's already happened. But I'm curious to know, like, because your week 1 gameplay, for me, it was one of the more interesting games. Obviously, you had like, I think, from what I'm not mistaken, I think one of the most confessionals in a single episode of Big Brother Minecraft. So kind of crazy. But
whoopsie.
Yeah, I don't even know. That wasn't even planned. That was just like, that just happened because obviously
it just happened.
You were a key part of the story. Yeah, right. But like your gameplay was interesting because like you come into the game and you obviously Happy, and you get this veto and you're like, damn, should I save Happy? Because Happy doesn't want to become head of household and have the responsibility of nomming people. So like, where was your head at week 1 with like having all this power, and like with the Sage, the interaction with Sage too? Like it's pretty big. That was a pretty big one too, with like your whole conversation with Sage on like whether you should use it or not.
Yeah, I knew that, particularly because of that, essentially the olive branch that came between me and Happy. I knew that me not doing anything with that veto and not using it to save Happy, would definitely kind of instill a few more trust issues, between him and me. So I
Yeah.
knew that I had to use it there, and show to Happy that even though someone's wishes is that I keep noms the same, I'm gonna go out of my way to make sure that he is at least like okay, not being put in a position that he doesn't want to be in. So I made sure that Happy remained safe that week. I wanted to do whatever I could, and that meant that I didn't want to throw the veto. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it felt like everyone threw it.
Right. No, yeah, everyone kind
Like,
of like was bad at it. Yeah.
it wasn't me. It wasn't me winning. It was everyone else losing.
Everyone's just bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's another thing. Like towards me. Like, how am I the comp threat?
Right. Yeah, and then I guess like the wall comp, you were like second, but I don't know. Did you throw that comp?
Yeah.
Was that did you actually throw that, or was you just or was that you?
No,
just,
I didn't throw.
Okay.
I was trying to win, but I was like chill trying to win because I didn't think, oh yeah, Sage is gonna absolutely like fuck me over.
Right.
Turns out, whoopsie doodle.
Yeah, so I wanna,
But yeah,
I do want to dive into your like relationship with Sage because obviously like that was a pretty interesting interaction. Because I feel like you were pulling one way and Sage was pulling the other. I feel like the target was like I feel like you guys were kind of on the same page as well because like the target really was Nick. Like I feel like everyone kind of like had the consensus of like yeah, let's get Nick out, but then you also wanted to use the veto on Happy.
I actually wanted Boyar out because I knew
And then,
that
yeah,
Nick and Sage were gonna actually like go at each other,
right.
and I knew that Jake ended up in a position where he was close with Sage. So I was like, get the Australian out.
Right,
Not
right.
not the one that was on the block already, but like the ball one.
Yeah, the other was the
But
bald one. Yeah, so I guess
the bald one.
better way of saying it is instead of saying you both wanted Nick out, you just wanted Happy safe. You both wanted Happy to stay in the game.
I just wanted Happy safe. I
Yeah.
didn't actually mind which of the two ended up going.
Right.
I kind of wanted to lean towards Boyar, but then it's weird because like the entire week I'm so hell bent on trying to get Boyar out, and then I think I ended up like just getting like a private message or something like that, where someone was just saying like something really bad stuff about Nick, and I thought it was like on like a beyond the game level, so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna work with this guy.
Right.
It was completely false. I can't remember who did it, but that's why like despite everything, despite every single DR being like, let's keep Nick safe, let's get rid of Boyar,
Right.
I ended up still voting out Nick in the end, and it was just like it. I don't know who said it to me, which is annoying, but that was the reason why I ended up flipping in the end, because I was just like, if something goes beyond the game, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Turns out it didn't even go beyond the game anyway, so whoever did that wasn't cool.
Yeah,
I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, I don't know. You said it was through DMs, right? So I wouldn't even know.
It was through Minecraft
yeah, the
messages.
Minecraft messages, right? Gotcha. So another kind of topic I wanted to bring up is something that like I know because just I know you, so like we talk about this a lot. But I wanted to like because the viewers don't know about this, and this is something I think that we should bring up is the fact that like someone like you was not really included in this like girls and gays or dolls alliance. So like just lay it all on the table. Like what were your thoughts on that for like not being included in that initially?
It's a weird one because during the season, I didn't even know this alliance existed.
Right.
I didn't even know the alliance based on, girls, gays, and theys was a thing. I only found out literally after the entire recording was done. Like, I didn't find out during the season the whole time, but it's a weird one on a personal level for me because I had probably been I kind of came out as non-binary maybe a week before the season started. I was still very hesitant in even like telling people when I did so. I just did it. I did it subtly. I was like, changing pronouns on Instagram and didn't mention it to anyone.
Right.
And then people be like, "Oh, are you non-binary?" It's like, yeah, I guess I am. But like, I didn't want that to affect how people thought of me on the season, whether that was for better or for worse. So, I mean, finding out that this alliance existed, point one obviously sucked because I essentially got just like gamed out by something point one beyond my control, and just like, and then it kind of makes me angry because I am being excluded from an alliance of people that I am technically a part of. The alliance shouldn't even exist, but it felt like it wasn't an alliance of the girls, gays, and theys. It was an alliance of the stereotype of the girls, gays, and theys. And because I didn't come across as that during the season, I was left out of the alliance. And that actually ended up making me feel quite dysphoric after the season was out. Right. And it did actually push me like kind of back into the closet a little, and I didn't like it. And I've mentioned it to, you know, the people in the alliance itself. Right. I mentioned it quite publicly, and people have been like sorry and whatnot. But I will say I although I have like no bad blood, I still hold the people in the alliance accountable because I just think that is not cool.
Right, and I think
like I just don't think it's cool at all.
I will say, I mean, the season's not even out yet, and I think so far from just like what we've seen in like just the public reaction to the cast like reveal, like we did the Meet the House Guys video, and a lot of people were talking about how they want to make a girls and gays alliance, and so far like the public has not been like too high on that idea of that, because we did see it last season and it was like
it feels like it felt like there's not really a purpose of it, because like I mean at least the previous season there had never even been a female winner,
right,
but this time round it felt like there wasn't any like purpose to it. It was just, it felt like a way to, rather than include, actually, weirdly enough, it felt like rather than a way to include people, actually ended up being a way to exclude people.
Right. And I know that like it probably wasn't the intent, but it's like it's just it's a weird weird like a gray line.
It's a very weird gray area, and it's not. It feels like weird to have something like that like happen in a series, because like I understand why, you know, people of, you know, certain identities and sexualities and stuff like that would gravitate towards each other and like, you know, like get along with each other better. That makes complete sense to me. But to dictate almost your entire start of your game around it, it does sit quite badly with me, because it feels like, you know, people are getting targeted beyond their control.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And like I've mentioned, when I mentioned it, it kind of all goes back to, okay, why did you go for me? Oh, because there was no one left to go for. Okay, what about X, Y, and Z? Okay, happy, safe. Braden's on the block. Boyara's safe as well. Okay, what about the rest of the game? Right. Oh, but they're dolls. And it's like they weren't even part of like the Dolls Alliance, but because they were the dolls, it was like, it still felt like, you know, you're not taking full accountability for what is even happening here. And I think the person I held most responsible for this, obviously, as head of household, was Sage.
Right.
And to this day, still, Sage hasn't really taken full accountability of it, and has always gone back to, oh, but it was because of the dolls. And it's like, that is proving my point. That is proving my point, because I have been excluded because I don't, like, by stereotype, seem like a doll. Okay, right, obviously, how I look right now, you can't see that in Minecraft, so it's a whole different beast entirely. And that's why, it's, like, just those stereotypes end up being harmful in both directions.
Absolutely. I mean, and also look at like somebody like Davison, like David before you, the week before.
Yeah, Davison is arguably an even more extreme example of that.
So I haven't recorded his interview yet, but I will talk to him soon about that and hear his take on it as well, because he's also a member of the LGBT community. So it's an interesting. I'm very much happy that we're able to sit here and talk about it and just kind of like break it down, because at the end of the day, like Big Brother is just, it's a social experiment.
It is.
It's, and you guys are like a microcosm of society. And so
absolutely.
So trying to figure out like, what does this tell us about society as a whole? Like, does it tell us anything? So it's interesting. Like, what does it tell you?
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing it does tell me is that, okay, sometimes, especially in like, obviously with actual Big Brother, it's spread across a series of months. We have a day. We have
just
a
one
day,
day, yeah.
and that is it. A day of basically just constant go, 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 go.
Yeah.
You can't stop unless someone has an issue with crashing, but you can't stop.
I wonder who you're talking about. I don't know. I don't know.
But it's in a weird spot where, like, obviously, if I had stated anything about my identity, I could have done better. But I didn't feel morally right, and I still wouldn't feel morally right in using that to my advantage. And it, like, I think still to this day, I would not have said anything about my identity to anyone else during the season.
Right, because I feel like at that point, because like you don't want to really use it as game, like you just. I don't know. It's a gray area. You're right. It's definitely like you don't want to just come out and say that you are just so that you stay safe in a game. Like it kind of feels morally wrong. To even do that.
No, I wouldn't like weaponizing it is wrong.
Yeah,
like to me, weaponizing it is completely wrong.
Right.
So I would never under any circumstances do that.
Totally.
And that's why in any game I play with strangers, even to this day, I don't mention it. I don't mention it at all.
Absolutely.
I want them to see me for, who I am rather than what I am.
Absolutely. I respect it. And it's interesting. Like I was curious to know that like that you actually did talk about it with the other people that were in the game, because I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that you had like conversations with them.
Yeah, it wasn't like a deep conversation. I just I actually put it in the general chat in the Discord, and kind of mentioned that that was pretty shit. And that's why I remember post-season I was throwing shade at the people that did that.
Absolutely.
And I was like not holding back, and there was no love lost for a good while. And like I also, don't particularly take any of that back. I felt like fully justified in doing it.
Yeah.
But the people in question have at least like responded to it, and I appreciate that.
I see. Also, so this is a great conversation that we just had, because it's like it really shines light on an issue and kind of like something that's kind of, I would say, broken about the game of Big Brother Minecraft, but it's something that to take a deeper look at, because obviously there's something going on there, right? And I'm curious to see what the general public think of this as well, because as someone that was there the entire time, like I only have my perspective, but I would like to see what the viewers think as well. But for me, it's also like I also kind of like bring it all back to Jake. Like I feel like Jake was just trying to throw people under the bus, and I think that like unfortunately, like he just tried to pin Vince against you and like make up lies, and unfortunately, like it worked out, and I think that it just worked like weirdly, like unfortunate timing for you, but but I don't like, because I really wouldn't want that experience for you to like really define your time on the show, because I think it's much better, it's much bigger than that. But yeah, how besides all of that, like how would you say your experience was defined by?
It's definitely a weird one, because like I did not get into the nitty gritty of the strategy that I so desperately wanted to do.
Right.
One of the things I wanted to do was like, be cutthroat and backstab people. And it turns out from like the get-go, I had to be completely straight up honest with people from day one.
Right.
Like I had to be completely forward in everything I did, except to Jake.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But, except to Jake. Other than that, I had to end up being like completely forward. It's arguably the most like authentic and honest I've ever been in one of these social experiment type games. I want to try and scheme. I want to try and, take advantage of this social experiment aspect, because every single time I watch one of these shows, one of the main things that draw me to it is the what would you do situation. And with this, I've kind of realized that sometimes what would I do situation is not necessarily for longevity,
right,
but for, making an impression, whether that is on the audience, whether that is on, the other people I'm playing with. I don't want to go out, as I said earlier, like a wet fart. I want to make sure that regardless of what position that sounds wrong, regardless of where I end up finishing in the season,
right,
I want to know that I've at least made a mark.
Cool. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, definitely have, man. I mean, that was quite a run you had, and like record-breaking confessionals. I'm sure that'll go down. But other than that, man, like, do you have any other final thoughts about like just your time on the season? Like anything else that like you think we need to cover before the end of the interview?
I'd say like regardless of like the stuff I've said here, I still enjoy my time. I still respect and appreciate the other people that I have played with. I cannot appreciate more the friendships and connections that I ended up making from this season as well. Like I know that Boyar invited me to a couple of videos. I did a few streams with Mac. I'm making sure to do stuff with the other people from the season.
Absolutely.
And I think one of the biggest things beyond that was like rebuilding my relationship with Happy was it was incredible. It was actually incredible that we got that time to just sit in front of each other, like not having to keep up impressions with either like the two of us. Like
right,
we just like sat down, completely grounded and everything, and just talked it out. And I'm gonna be honest, we fixed every problem we had within about 10 minutes.
That's great, because like honestly, I mean, like going into casting, like we did know that you guys knew each other, but I didn't know to what extent. I just knew that you guys had each other on Discord, so I was like, they do know each other, but I don't know to what extent. So it was interesting to know that it was a much deeper like story. That it was
it was very deep and very nuanced, I'd say.
Yeah, so
like I mean, there was good, there was bad, there's kind of the middle. Like we kind of went through it all. Absolutely. And we ended up being quite distant from it, but then the season ended up just like fixing that, which was incredible.
That's good, man. I'm glad to hear that. That's great.
Yeah, and I really appreciate you inviting me to play, given 4.5.
Yeah, we will not mention that, but yeah.
4 point what now?
Only real ones will know.
4.0.
Only real ones will know. That you almost fell on the sword for me too. That's crazy. On that season.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, what a time, man. But yeah, it's been great having you on the podcast. I'm glad that we were able to sit down and have this conversation. I hope that there's really nothing else out there that is left unanswered. The viewers out there, if you have any questions for Joe, you can leave it down in the comments below. I'm sure Joe will probably check it out and answer your questions.
I will roast the shit out of you.
There you go. All right. Well, with that being said, thank you all for watching, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
Yeah, you'll see me. Actually, no, you won't. Oh, no, you won't. Oh, no.